Basin.
I love that place.
Love that place. The San Francisco Giants playing host to the Colorado Rockies. Game 2 of this 4-game set. And last night, for those that didn't stay up late, may have missed it. Shame on you, absolutely. 12 innings. Billy actually did stay awake for it. The Rockies win 5-3. Big hit from the struggling Carlos Gonzalez late.
It was a big hit for Cargo, but I'd point at the Rockies bullpen last night. They picked up quite a few innings, and more importantly, when you look at the Rockies bullpen, it comes down to they're holding it long enough for the lineup to be able to get the win, because right now the Rockies are 5-0 if they have a tie game after 7 innings. That comes down to the bullpen, but the lineup needs to be better. Absolutely, and speaking of that lineup, another reshuffling of the deck, if you will, Corey, and Buddy's trying to find the right combination.
Well, I think in Buddy's situation, the offense has been struggling, so you're trying to mix and match, put guys in a situation where they can succeed. You're talking about the 39th different lineup. That's a lot when you've only played, this will be the 45th game. It's 12 different guys in the 7-hole, 8 different guys in the 8-hole, 7 guys in the 5-hole, and 7 in the 2-hole. What makes that so difficult is there are different approaches in every one of those positions in the batting order. These guys have had to show some versatility, and you're trying to mix and match and make it work.
You would know you hit in every spot in the lineup during your big league career. Now back in there against a lefty is Noel Cuevas. He's done some nice things. David Dahl's coming around left on left.
David Dahl is coming around left on left. Had 3 hits in the last game. But for me, it's these guys getting opportunities, because when you're looking at some of the veteran players, Cargo and Para, Ian Desmond, they just have not fully gotten into the groove. And Bud is being forced to use different players. Noel Cuevas has been fantastic. He has shown the quality of bat, hit his first home run the other day against Corey Lucchese. And just seeing David Dahl, because I know so many people look at him and they understand the talent level that he has. They compare him to a young Larry Walker. They say he has the skill set of Carlos Gonzalez. That's an everyday player, but he has to prove and earn these opportunities. They're going to be presented to him because, as I mentioned earlier, some of the veteran guys are struggling. There are at-bats to be won, and I want to see how Cuevas does tonight. I want to see how Dahl does tonight and move forward from there.
Such an important road trip. The Rockies so far 2-1. It's all in California, all against the National League West. The biggest stars last night, Spilly mentioned it, the bullpen. We'll talk more about their work yesterday and all season long when we return. He's on the West Coast. It just stays out here in the Pacific. Welcome back with Ryan Spilborghs and Corey Sullivan. I'm Drew Goodman. Spilly got a little kick out of that. Have you ever been on that yacht?
Well, you can put your toe in.
Yeah.
It's about all you can do.
Well, that's why I said you had to look really carefully. The bullpen last night, 6 innings of shutout baseball. They allowed only 2 hits. They were the stars until the Rockies could finally produce some offense in the 12th inning on that Cargo base hit with the bases loaded. They've been fun to watch, especially Wade Davis, Adam Ottavino.
Yeah, anytime you're talking about the back end of this bullpen, they've done an incredible job. Out on the road, you're talking about 14 to 13 games, basically, an ERA combined of about 1.25. These guys have done an incredible job. You mentioned Adam Ottavino. He's done a great job. Wade Davis obviously closing it out. But Brian Shaw, yesterday, he's the one who set the tone. He did a great job coming in. He punched out all 3 guys he faced. He was throwing that front door cutter to righties. Then he was throwing it off the outside part of the plate. There's not a whole lot you can do as a right-handed hitter. If you try and unleash that, you're just going to pull it foul. Then Otto, we saw some seriously defensive swings in his performance and his 2 innings that he pitched.
I thought Jake McGee last night earning his first win since 2016 and also going 2 innings. He hadn't done that since 2014. Extremely important for today because it matches up for the Rockies. It allows them to have more players to use for the bullpen. Bochy used quite a few bullpen arms last night. The Rockies only really used 4, so that bodes well for the rest of the weekend. And
you'd like to get length anytime out of your starting pitcher. Today it'll be Kyle Freeland. He has been on quite a roll. We'll talk more about him when we come back. We are set for baseball. It's the Rockies, it's the Giants. Come on back to South Beach in San Francisco with us. Typically somewhat chilly night in the city by the bay, and we're glad you're along with us. The Rockies and Giants getting ready for game 2, not only of this series, but of the season series, of which they'll play 19 times. And from here, the Rockies will play Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night in LA against the Dodgers. Here's the Southwest batting order. Charlie Blackmon's going to lead it off. And then, as Corey was explaining, the Rockies shuffling the deck today. Chris Iannetta, he's been in that 2 spot a couple of times for Buddy this year. Nolan, Trevor Story, Noel Cuevas will bat in an RBI spot. He's hitting lefties well. Ian Desmond, David Dahl next, and then Daniel Castro, who had a 2-run double in the 2nd inning last night. He'll hit in front of Kyle Freeland. And the Rockies will face Derek Holland, longtime member of the Texas Rangers, last year with the White Sox. He pitched at Coors Field. That was his first ever matchup against Colorado, and Spilly, the Rockies beat him up pretty good.
They did beat him up pretty good, and his last start for Derek Holland was his best start of the season. 6 1/3 innings pitched, no earned runs. However, for Derek Holland, some of the numbers to point out, a lot of walks. He's averaging about 4 walks per 9, Always had a big arm. The velocity's down to about 92 miles an hour with the fastball, but his changeup is his best secondary pitch.
He hasn't given up a hit yet on that changeup this year. Charlie fouls that pitch off. Blackman hitting .316 this year, left on left. 56 degrees our game time temperature. And with the start tonight for Charlie in center field, he now moves past Dexter Fowler on the all-time list, #1 with 555 starts roaming center field. And I always point this out. Last year, he ran out there 159 times. So going back and forth when you're at Coors Field, he's basically, and you know this, Corey, because you played a lot of center field. Spilly played some center field. That's a mile and a half of striding every game.
It's 200 yards every inning, 100 out, 100 back. You multiply that times 9, it's 1,800 yards, it's over a mile.
Yep.
That's good math.
And to do it, altitude, sea level, every single game, and then produce the way he produces offensively, he's a freak show. He's battling away 1 and 2 on Derek Holland, the 31-year-old left-hander out of Ohio, Newark, Ohio, which is right down the road from Granville, Ohio, the home of Denison University, about a half hour to the east of Columbus, where the Buckeyes play. Little geography lesson on Central Ohio.
I had a good idea. Grew up in Pittsburgh. I was with you.
I lived in Columbus for 2 months. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Columbus is a great town. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Charlie hits this ball in the air to shallow right center, and it's caught out there by Austin Jackson. Here's the Giants defensively this evening. They typically are very sound in the infield. It's an outfield again of Gorkys Hernandez, Austin Jackson, and Andrew McCutchen. The infield, Longoria and Brandon Crawford on the left side. They got some gold gloves between those two, though. Longoria's had a rough start. He's got 8 errors. Tomlinson and Buster Posey playing first tonight. And doing the catching, the former Rocky for a couple of seasons, Nick Hundley. Iannetta had a very important walk off the bench in that 12th inning. And again, for those that couldn't stay up to 1 in the morning last night, Cargo had the only hit in that 2-run 12th. There were 3 walks to load the bases from 2 different pitchers. And then this hit by Cargo, and Sully, he was behind 1-2.
Yeah, he did an incredible job fighting off some pitches and basically throwing it out into right center field just with pure strength and staying through the baseball.
Here's that off-speed delivery, 1 and 2 on Chris. He has good numbers. He has seen by far, with his American League time, both in the AL West together, he's seen Derek Holland 28 times. He has 10 hits against him.
Righties on the season hitting .237 against Derek Holland.
He's dominated lefties though, 150 average. He's pitched actually better out on the road than at home. He has a home ERA of 5.65. 2 and 2. He made the club as a minor league free agent. He had a tough year last year in his only season with the White Sox. He went 7 and 14. He had a 6+ ERA. They actually released him in early September. 2-2. Holland's best year came in 2011 with Texas. Went 16 and 5 with a 3.95 ERA. You have under a 4 in the American League and pitching in Texas at that stadium, Globe Life. That's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, Arlington never really gets the credit for the hitter's park that it is, and anytime it's hot in a day game, the ball's typically flying there.
The Rockies not even done with 2 hitters. They've already forced Holland to throw 15 pitches.
If this is a race to the bullpen, I'd say the Giants are in trouble in that department, having used as many guys as they did.
This ball's hammered but foul. When Derek Holland's on, he doesn't overpower a lineup, but he stays out of the central part of the zone.
That's what you want to see if you're a pitcher. Now, Derek Holland, when he was first coming up with the Texas Rangers, his fastball was 95 to 97 miles an hour.
He had some fuzz, didn't he? It's interesting because when he was coming out of high school, he was undersized, did not have a 4-year school that recruited him, period, at any level. He ended up going to a camp where he impressed. This ball's pulled down the line. And had an opportunity to go to Alabama and Wallace State Community College. And ultimately, he was drafted out of there in the 25th round. Name another prominent pitcher who went to Wallace State.
Is there one?
There is.
Okay.
And he is really prominent. 3-2. This is going to be 20
Craig
pitches.
Kimbrell.
Craig Kimbrell, you help out your buddy?
No.
You nailed it, Craig Kimbrell.
This guy's super smart.
I'm pretty sure the other guy.
Dougie cheated for you. Craig Kimbrell went to Wallace State. 3-2.
Oh, I love this at bat. So, in the booth next to us, Dave Fleming of the San Francisco Giants radio. There was an at bat in Anaheim. Brandon Belt, 21 pitch at bat. It lasted 13 minutes.
It's so funny that you said that because I had just told Tavis Strand, our producer tonight, to get a shot of Brandon Belt. You were thinking the same thing I was. Chris Iannetta has pitched to 10 in the batter's box. Charlie had a lengthy at bat. Here's the 21st pitch of the first inning, strike 3. Well, here's the good news for Derek Holland. There's 2 outs, nobody on. I guess the bad news is he's got a mid-game lather going.
And Nolan Arenado stepping into the box, haven't seen basically everything he's got. That's the value of having those quality at-bats early in the game.
Nolan last night threw out a couple hits. He also had a walk. And he takes on the outside corner for a strike. 1 for 3 last year when the Rockies saw Holland in Denver. Rockies hit him pretty good. 7 runs in 4 innings.
Holland wants to throw the ball glove side. He's already set up on the third base side of the rubber, and he wants to be able to pitch inside the righties. However, that is exactly where Nolan wants you to pitch him.
There's that good changeup. One and 2. Chase fastball right above the zone. 2 and 2. Giants move Kelby Tomlinson to the left side of the infield. And Nolan hits it sharply. Well, that's a terrific play by Brandon Crawford. He has as good a glove as there is in the National League at shortstop. You know anything about
starboard?
yachting?
Nothing. I'm just naming terms.
Port side.
Port side.
There we go.
Here we go. Well, it took 26 pitches for Derek Holland to get 3 outs. And now it's Kyle Freeland's turn. He's making his 9th start. The last 4 have been beautiful. 3-1 record, a 1.65 ERA, and Spilly an 0.91 WHIP. He has really found his mark over the last 3-4 weeks.
Well, Corey and I, we've been watching Kyle Freeland over the last couple of weeks, and we're still watching him develop his changeup and, more importantly, the curveball. The curveball for us is going to be the pitch that is going to be important. We've seen the occasional one getting tossed out, but if he gets that pitch, Corey, do you not agree that it will become a very good weapon for him?
It basically will give him a similar repertoire, and I know how dangerous this sounds, to Clayton Kershaw.
What?
Because he's got the slider, he's got the cutter, and you add in that third breaking pitch that looks similar, and obviously his last 4 starts have been absolutely incredible, and it really is attributed to his 4-seam fastball. He's been throwing it up and in more to right-handed hitters, and because of that, he's getting a lot more strikeouts, he's getting a lot more soft contact. I mean, when you're talking about a 4-run difference in ERA, that tells you you've become a little bit more effective in understanding how to use your pitch repertoire.
You just called him future Clayton Kershaw.
This ball's lifted to pretty deep center field, and this is going to get out of there. That's the first home run he's given up in 4+ starts. Gorkys Hernandez with his 3rd of the year, and it's 1-0.
Looks like a cutter on the Subaru Supremo that just stays right down the middle. Hernandez is able to catch up to it with the 2-strike approach.
Well, there's the curveball you talked about for strike 1 on Andrew McCutcheon. So the Giants on the board first with the home run by Hernandez. Outside 1-1 on McCutcheon. He had a rough go last night. For just the 4th time in his career, he had the golden sombrero, struck out 4 times.
And he looked very indecisive and like he was guessing the whole night.
Chris Iannetta may have a play. He will. 1 out. Let's take a look at the Southwest batting order for Bruce Bochy this evening. Coming up next will be Buster Posey. Evan Longoria, the longtime Ray, will bat cleanup. Then Nick Hundley, who's been swinging the bat very well against lefties, and in particular at home. He'll be followed by Brandon Crawford, Austin Jackson, Kelby Tomlinson, and Derek Holland. So it, not surprisingly, is a right-hand dominant lineup. Brandon Belt, who's been red hot. He's getting the first part of the evening off as he was 0 for 7 against Kyle Freeland last year. Freeland went 2-2 against the Giants last year. This is just his 2nd career start at AT&T. He lost his other one. He gave up 4 runs in 6 innings last summer here in San Francisco. Mr. Steady Buster Posey has an MVP trophy at home. Got a Rookie of the Year award at home. And he's got a base hit. Pretty simple swing, doesn't change too much. Hasn't changed much since he was a star in Tallahassee at Florida State. 1 out, 1 on. Here comes Longoria. Here's a look at the Rockies defense. David Dahl and that man Noel Cuevas flanking Charlie Blackmon in the outfield. And it's Arenado Story, Daniel Castro, Ian Desmond in the infield. Chris Iannetta came off the bench late last night. He caught the final inning. Tony Walters, because Castro was pinch hit for, Tony actually finished the ball game at second base.
And that speaks to the roster versatility that the Rocks have. There aren't a lot of catchers that can go out and play the middle of the diamond. Fortunately for the Rockies, they've got Tony.
Well, Buster Posey, who was very versatile when he was at Florida State, he closed games, etc. Buster owns the 2nd highest batting average all time against the Rockies. The guy that owns the highest You want to talk about versatile guys that caught for a while. The Hall of Famer Craig Biggio. And Biggio was one of the rare breeds that could go out from behind the plate and play in the middle of the diamond. Great second baseman. Played center field also.
Surprised looking at some of Kyle Freeland's splits. He's got a 1.4 ERA at home. 4.82 on the road.
Well, last year he showed just how comfortable he was pitching in his hometown. Here's the 1-2 on Longoria. A little bit low, 2-2.
Why do you think that is?
Well,
I mean,
when you think about the first 3 road starts that he made, he was in a lot of deep counts. I think of the one in Pittsburgh in particular, where he wasn't even able to get out of the 5th inning because he had already thrown 90-plus pitches.
See if the Rockies can turn this. Castro on the first, a 5-4-3. The Giants get on the board. Gorkys Hernandez with his second career leadoff home run. Rockies baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by the 2018 Toyota Tundra in your hometown Toyota stores, by O'Toole's Garden Center, putting the color in Colorado, and by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. That is the Golden Gate Bridge.
how can you tell?
Well, it's, I don't know. You ever been to the top of that mountain cliff to the left when you go over into Marin County? There's a huge gun turret up there.
Oh yeah, I've been up there.
And it was built during World War II in case there was invasion coming in from the bay. They would protect, you know, the harbor. Here's Trevor Story. Well, Holland's got that good change going, fellas.
I think if he's going to continue to use it, especially early in the count, you got to go up the middle the other way. Can't try and get big because he's just going to exploit it and spin you into the ground.
This is line down the line, fair ball. Trevor will cut the bag at first, and he'll pause at second base with a leadoff double. And he continues what he started really early in his career. He sees left-handed pitching very well.
He does. He stays back. I think that's the first hit on a changeup right there that Derek Collins given up all year. Trevor did a great job keeping his hands back, seeing it and identifying it. After he swung and missed at the first one, he gets one up that's out over the middle of the plate, stays through it, out of the reach of Evan Longoria and just inside the left field foul line. Great job by Trevor Story.
And now you set up the possibility of a swipe of third with his wheels at second and a lefty on the mound. And you have a right-handed hitter in Cuevas. So Crawford's pulled over toward the hole. He lays down a bunt, and it's going to run foul. Love the idea, though.
But the second time that we've seen Cuevas do that, and it's important when you're looking at this part of the lineup. For the Win is brought to you by Pizza Ranch. Last night we saw several runs coming from hitters 5 through 8 last night, 3 of them. And it's so important for the Rockies to have that length, to have that lineup where they're grinding the at-bats, because you can't just count on a handful of batters throughout the night. So I'd like to see Cuevas have a night. Desmond, Dahl, Castro do exactly what they did last night.
Yeah, we talked yesterday about team at-bats at a place like AT&T, being able to take advantage of opportunities. This is one of those situations early in a game where a situational AB, an out, can advance the runner.
This will advance him. This is to McCutcheon in deep right, tagging up and moving 90 feet is Story. Really good approach. I mean, his whole approach was, I'm going to move that runner 90 feet. He tried to do it with a bunt, and then he let that ball travel. Spilly, that was great stuff.
He's got a great feel for the game. That's a high baseball IQ. Because to your point, you go for the drag bunt, you bunt it towards third. That's where Evan Longoria, you want the third baseman to field it. Makes it easy for Trevor to get to third base. That doesn't work out. Go ahead and still try to drive a baseball. Try to get a hit, but make sure you get to the right side.
Ian Desmond facing his teammate from a couple of years ago in Derek Holland. The one year that Desi was in the American League with the Rangers. That was Holland's final year with Texas. The infield, even at the corners and halfway up the middle. That's a strike. And when you see this, and you guys work on this every single day of your baseball careers, there's get them in, and there's get them in when the infield's in. So you got to lift the baseball here in a perfect world.
Yeah, first round of every batting practice round is situational hitting, and you got to find something you can elevate.
And they'll come home with this. And Story, who is going on contact, is easy pickings. And once again, Ian Desmond having trouble getting the ball in the air. He has the highest ground ball rate in Major League Baseball.
Rockies came into tonight's game 25th in baseball with runners in scoring position, a .226 batting average. That is now 0 for his last 15 for Ian Desmond with runners in scoring position.
And you guys were both good base runners.
It's nothing you can do.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do there, but almost across the board, the philosophy is when there's one out, you're going to go on contact. Now, if it's hit at the corners, you almost have no shot. If that was hit in the middle of the diamond with them halfway, with the way Story runs, probably still would have been thrown out, but you would have had a better chance. But still, it goes back to, if the infield's back in a get him in, you can hit a ground ball in the middle of the diamond, and you're gonna get an RBI. This ball's hitting the air to center field. Pretty well hit, but it's caught out there by Jackson, and the Rockies waste a great opportunity to even it up. 1-0 San Francisco. He was 11 for his previous 13 going into the ball game yesterday.
This will be an interesting battle throughout the day. Obviously, left-handed batters, just 2 for the last 29 against Freeland. He's really done a good job with that slider, keeping it down and away, out of lefties' hands. He also front-doored it in his last start, which is a really effective pitch that lefties don't see often.
Back up the middle. Desmond is stationed there. 2 outs. Join in on the conversation, folks. Send us your thoughts, comments, photos. Use Twitter and include the hashtag Toyota Talk. With 2 gone, that'll bring up the veteran center fielder Austin Jackson. Jackson's hitting well over 300 at home. Out on the road, well below 200. Somebody tweeted us, and I guess that boat that we saw, the 70 with the the American flag on it, and the 76. It sounds like somebody knows what he's talking about. He said that's a 12-meter yacht, America's Cup class. That's a very special boat, which we knew nothing about.
So you use it to catch sharks?
No.
Gonna need a bigger boat?
They use it to go really fast on the water.
Name the boats, Billy, in the movie.
I forgot.
2 and 1.
What's the name of the boat in Jaws?
We need a bigger boat.
Yeah. That's what he just said.
That's what I said.
What's
the name of the boat?
The one they needed a bigger one, or the one they?
No, the one they needed. It was
This
the Orca.
This is an America's Cup boat that's going by. Mm-hmm. It's a 12-foot yacht.
12
meter yacht.
A little bigger than 12 feet. What was the name of the boat?
The Orca.
The Orca.
I think.
That's what I ordered at Old Ebbitt's Grill when we were in D.C.
Fantastic.
The Orca. How good is that? That 12-meter yacht can hold a few folks. How cold do you think those guys are?
Cold.
That could be our CenturyLink high-speed challenge poll question tonight. They're A, cold, B, very cold, C, freezing, D, they
want off the boat.
They want off the boat badly. They want a helicopter to pick them up. Just another summer evening in San Francisco. 2-2 fouled off.
Boat like that, nothing some grape juice can't fix if you're cold. Napa Valley's an hour and a half away.
It's down 3-2. Speaking of Napa Valley, next time we're out in San Francisco, we're going to go see the Jack Winery. Chris Ionetta's going to give us a tour.
I'm not on that trip, but I am rapidly trying to alter my plans to be here on that off day.
Boy, I'm shocked by that. Swung on and missed. Good inning for Freeland. 2 ground balls and a strikeout of Austin Jackson. We go to the third, 1-0 on the Gorkys Hernandez home run. the order here in the third. Fans, if the Rockies score 7 runs or more, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 to receive your Rockies taco special. Live Moss at Taco Bell. Castro, a contact hitter, made contact and hit a hard ground ball down the third base line on a curveball yesterday against the Shark. Since we're talking about fishing boats. For a 2-0 lead in the second. And then he would score moments later on a base hit by Chad Bettis. Chad ended up going 6 innings, 3 runs. A year and a day after his final chemotherapy treatment. Derek Holland with a 2-strike count on Castro. One and two. This is the 9th start for Castro. And how about this? The Rockies are 6 and 2 in the starts for Daniel. Not much of a batting average, though. He's thrown out some clutch hits. We mentioned the one last night. And he's done a very steady job defensively in the absence of DJ. And again, if you were not with us last night and not had a chance to catch up on Rockies news, the Rockies got good news yesterday on LeMahieu. He has the slightest of fractures in the volar radial metacarpal head. And basically, this ball's ripped to left. Got a baby. Castro with the lead single. Gonna make Freeland's job easy. He's got to get a bunt down, in theory. But DJ, in a week, will be able to start swinging a bat again, and it's a pain thing. It's a swelling thing right now, and you know he can be back hopefully in a relatively short amount of time. It's a very unusual injury, and the reason I say it's good news is there was fear if there's ligament damage that it would require surgery. Look what Pollock's going through. AJ Pollock with Arizona, and then you're talking about 2+ months. When he's not in there, guys, you realize, not that you ever take his presence for granted. There's a strike. You realize just how valuable on both ends of the game he is.
It's just incredible when you have all the metrics, they say it. When you see somebody that's consistently hitting the ball over 95 miles an hour, when you're looking at barrels and line drive rates, and then you understand the 6'4" frame, the balls that he catches, the low liners, his ability to turn a double play. You miss him and his leadership.
Plus, in this day and age, he's an old school player in so many ways. And I know that's a term we throw around so frivolously these days, but what I mean is he's not a launch angle guy. He's a guy that's going to hit, you know, 9 to 12, 14 home runs, but he's going to give you quality at bat after quality at bat. He's bunted pretty hard, and Longoria is going to get the force at second. Freeland, who's an outstanding athlete, motored up the line to make sure he didn't get doubled up. Tell you what, little things like that hustle right there, that's important because you save an out. You give Blackman an opportunity and potentially Ionetta an opportunity here in the third.
Yeah, and when laying down the bunt right here for Kyle Freeland, he knows he's trying to go to third base, but he just catches too much of the baseball. Longo fields it on 2 hops, and Brendan Crawford's got some of the best hands, but you're right, Kyle Freeland busting it down the line, that's important. You never want to get doubled up in that situation, and now you got an opportunity also where Charlie can pull the ball through the 3-hole, which is an important thing for a left-handed hitter.
And Charlie is more often than not a pull hitter. Outside. Well, the last 2 days, we chat with DJ in the clubhouse, and he's wandering around. His hand is in a soft cast, so the thumb doesn't get damaged, but he's still carrying a bat wherever he goes.
Yeah, I actually watched him come out too and play catch. I always enjoy that. It's a lot like in the NFL when you're a quarterback, you throw the ball, but you don't catch it.
No, you can't hurt your fingers, right?
So you got a personal catcher at that point. And
who's the personal catcher today?
I believe it was Jasperson, Mike Jasperson.
DJ's left hand, so that's why he can't catch right now. 2-1. He actually, to get the swelling out of there, can't get the heart rate up either. So it's, you know, he's not going to be, you're not going to see him on the bike or the treadmill.
We were teasing him. Hey DJ, what vice are you going to pick up in the next week? Because there's nothing to do for a player like that other than sit.
You're saying he doesn't have any hobbies?
No, he doesn't play video games.
Well, he couldn't anyway. Can't use the thumb.
He can't play Fortnite. He's not getting carpal tunnel. He's not into investing. He's not into fishing and hunting. And I mean, he likes hockey, but his team isn't in it.
He's into hitting line drives to right and picking ground balls. 3-1. This ball is at Jackson in center field. 2 outs. Second time Charlie has hit a fly ball in that direction. Now to bring up Ionetta, who had a 13 pitch at bat before taking a called strike 3. This is the 8th time that Chris has been inserted into the 2 spot in the lineup. And again, that's because Charlie was down for a bit. DJ's been down. Last year in Arizona, on 19 occasions, Torey Luvello had him bat in the 2 spot. You know, ordinarily, you wouldn't think of a guy that doesn't run well, a catcher in that 2 spot, a traditional catcher, but because he has such a good eye and walks a great deal of the time, it isn't a bad fit.
He took some quality swings. He hit a ball with home run disses, just foul. Let's see if he can straighten one out.
Nice. Rockies with 17 road wins. They're 17-9. They've played more road games than anybody in baseball. The 17 wins, tied for the most road victories in baseball. Think about this. Just 4 years ago, 2014, the Rockies had 21 wins on the road for the whole year. They're within 4 of that right now on May the 18th. Three and 1. Behind home plate is crew chief Brian Honora. Haven't ID'd Brian yet. CB Buckner is at first. Chris Conroy at second. Chris Siegel at third.
3-1. Party in the front. Get the head out. It's probably a changeup count, though.
He got a fastball.
Center cut. He just missed it. You want that pitch back.
And I talked to Chris a little bit before batting practice today. He said he feels like he's swinging at about 90%. He feels like a lot of times right now he's kind of pulling off the ball a little bit and he's trying to stay on line. Right there you can see he pulled that front shoulder just a hair and it caused him to just foul it off.
3-2. Freeland will be moving and it's fouled off again. You may notice that Ionetta is wearing glasses. Now those are clear glasses. He wears contacts. And he's doing it because of the wind, so his eye, the contacts don't dry out.
Not everybody likes to hit with glasses. Some guys, you really have to force your head to turn so you can have both eyes looking at the pitcher. Some guys don't tilt their head all the way over, and the little bridge between the glasses, you see that.
And a check swing roller. Posey's got it. Holland to the bag. And the Rockies are done. They had a leadoff single by Castro. 1-0 San Francisco. Tomlinson, Derek Holland, and Gorkys Hernandez in the third against Kyle Freeland. Hernandez hit a home run. That's the difference in the game right now. Time for our AT&T Achieving More. Kyle Freeland, left on left, has allowed a 146 batting average, which is second best to Patrick Corbin. You see Johnny Cueto on the list. Johnny Cueto is going to be down till it looks like after the All-Star break. The kind of co-number 1 for the Giants, along with Madison Bumgarner. Now, visited with Mad Bum today. He was taking batting practice, of which
he loves.
He did. At one point, his group was ending, and Alonzo Powell, the new hitting coach, was wrapping it up, and he said, "Hold on a second." He jumped back in there. He wanted 3 or 4 more hacks, and his last hack, the ball went up on the concourse by the Coca-Cola bottle. He has extraordinary power. I said to him, I said, "You know who you remind me of?" I said, "Micah Owings." Remember when you guys were playing, when Micah Owings was a pitcher with Arizona, and they said he has the most power on the team.
Yeah. Mad Bum is way stronger than Micah Owens.
Stupid pop.
Oh my God. Smiley and I were sitting there talking about it. I really do think he could challenge in a home run derby. He's voiced his, how he wants to be in it.
I'd give him a shot.
Why not? It's good for the game. Kelby Tomlinson against Freeland. Good fastball. A little cut on it.
Some players don't want to do it, so just let him do it.
He'd do it every year. The thing he's paid to do, pitching, he's thrown a couple of bullpens, so he thinks by the first week of June or so, he'll be back on a big league mound.
And for Johnny Cueto, he was told that he would have to undergo Tommy John. He wanted a second opinion.
That's fair. Nolan's got it. Who does that? From his knees with velocity. Unbelievable. How strong does your arm have to be to do this?
Stronger than mine. Just Nolan has so much awareness and his ability to just put the throw on line, get it there. The Subaru Supermo. He uses his back knee and his hips to create that whip necessary to get enough on the throw to first base.
Here's a strike on Derek Holland. Great play by Arenado.
Just look at the numbers and where he ranks all time in fielding percentage. And I would argue,
I don't care about fielding percentage.
You shouldn't. because he takes errors, and he gets errors because he gets the balls that most people don't get.
Exactly. Same thing with Trevor Story. Trevor Story has fielded more. Last time I looked, he's had more chances than anybody else at shortstop in the National League, which means, guess what? He's getting the more baseballs, more opportunities to make a miscue. Also more opportunities to take a would-be hit away.
I think Drew's proposing a new statistic. Well, it sounds like percentage of errors against plays, right? Or opportunities or chances.
I just don't think they've perfected. This is a base hit for Holland. I just don't think they've perfected, there's DRS, defensive run saved, there's ultimate zone rating, UZR. I just don't think they have conclusively come up with numbers that give you a close to perfect idea of what you're looking at defensively. That's where I think old-time scouting comes in. Watch a guy play. In our case, we see him play 162 games. But go watch him play for 25, 30 games, and you're going to get a feel for truly who that player is defensively. How consistent they are, how steady they are in getting the balls other players don't get to. I thought Walt Weiss had maybe the most apropos description of Nolan Arenado defensively. He said he finishes great plays. You'll see guys make diving stops, right? And the guy's safe at first base. Say, hey, what a stop. Great play. Nolan makes it great on both ends.
I'll say it again, his anticipation of plays and ability to have field vision are things that I've never seen players be able to do on a baseball field. Whether it's the best shortstop, best center fielder, he has an ability to anticipate the baseball in plays that no one else does and then complete the play.
One ball, one strike on Hernandez. He homered over the center field wall in the bottom of the first inning.
Last year, Gorkys Hernandez, you know how many home runs he hit?
Zippo.
Had a bagel.
At one point in time, some years ago, he was one of the better prospects in baseball.
He could play a good outfield.
Three and one. Yeah, I'll make an analogy with Nolan. Think back to some great inside linebackers you've seen over the course of time. You go way back, and the great Hall of Famer Dick Butkus. Dick Butkus wasn't known as a fast guy, but his ability to read keys got him somewhere much faster than his speed would suggest. Well, that's what you're saying about Nolan.
Yeah, Nolan's lateral, again, he's never going to be the fastest guy on the field. His quickness laterally, I attribute it to soccer. He grew up playing soccer. You have to develop some field vision in that, and I think he has learned how to anticipate the baseball in the same way you learn to anticipate the soccer ball. And it's incredible how he transitions one sport to the other.
Well, you would know. You were a terrific soccer player. You can wear all the gear you want, and Murphy's Law is the ball, when you foul it off, will miss the gear.
That was the cutter that Cal Freeland wanted to throw earlier in the game, the one that Gorkys Hernandez hit out for the home run. And that is going to sit on your body for the rest of the year. You'll have a dent on your shin for the rest of the year.
Got any other good news for Gorkys?
Yeah, he's 1 for 1 with the homer.
The bad news is I will guarantee you he does that again.
He's going to get
in the same spot.
He's going to get the same pitch.
It may not be tonight, but he'll do it again.
He's kick-starting his shin.
It's usually about 90%. It's like the hard sinker, you foul off the leg, that you know that's the next pitch. 3-2. And he lost him. Now there's 2 on for Andrew McCutcheon. That hit to Holland, hopefully not costly. Just the 3rd career hit for Derek Holland. The walk, something that Kyle's cleaned up his last 4 starts. 27 strikeouts, just 8 walks over his last 4 starts. McCutchen fouled out to Iannetta his first time up. Ball 1. McCutchen has struggled with runners in scoring position, just 7 for 37, a 189 clip.
You gotta be careful with McCutchen, even though the batting average right now is a 242 clip. If you look into some of the other numbers, and there's some great StatCast data on it, his expected batting average should be closer to 300 with how many lineouts this guy has had. He has been squaring up a lot of baseballs just right at people. And last night he lined out directly at Trevor Story.
And that misses. 3-1. Buddy Black, Steve Foster, Darren Holmes, they talk all the time about how you handle stressful situations. A little bit of stress right now. 2 on, 3-1 count on a former MVP, a many-time All-Star. 3-1, ground ball to third. This should get him out of it. Nolan on the move, throws out McCutchen, a 5-3 double play. Nolan, a beautiful inning defensively, no harm done as Freeland makes a pitch on 3-1. We'll go to the 4th, 1-0 Giants. Question, go to AT&T Sportsnet RM on Twitter to cast your vote. We'll share the results during our post-game show. Oh, we're not doing the yacht question or how cold it is out there. Will you watch the royal wedding? It's in the wee hours, as they say in Britain.
How do they say it?
For us, it's in the wee hours. What time's it on here? 2 in the morning?
4:30 in the morning.
4:30 in the morning on the West Coast?
It disappoints me that Ryan knows that.
I have a little bit of interest.
What level of interest do you actually have on watching the royal wedding tomorrow?
I'm not going to sit there and watch it, you know, end to end. Normally, I wouldn't have any interest, but you know,
you're going to watch it. There's no chance. I will wake you up and we'll watch it together.
The highlights.
Challenge accepted.
I'll bring the beers.
I'll bring the tea.
They have to be room temperature, the beers.
Okay.
Nolan's going to lead it off in the 4th.
And Corey, you have to be there too.
I think a lot of people are lying. I'm not going to buy the poll results tonight. I think there's going to be some people lying because they don't want to admit that there's a little bit of intrigue. That's a strike, 1-1 on Nolan. Corey, you have not, Spilly ridiculed me. What are you doing?
What do you mean?
Are you watching?
No. No, not unless we're doing it as a group, and then I'm absolutely in.
I want to find out if we can track what his television was tuned to.
Who,
at
mine?
No.
Oh,
Sully's
Corey's?
at 4:30 in the morning.
It's probably in Sports Center.
Are you watching, Spilly?
I'm interested.
I'll be the only one awake.
So I have a mile, just a little bit.
I'll be the only one awake.
I want to see if they're going to do Princess Bride.
Marriage.
3-1.
We can't quote movies though, because do you know Princess Bride?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I'm
inconceivable.
Right. Buddy was breaking out his favorite films today. He started with Gone with the Wind. Oh, leadoff walk. The Rockies, getting back to baseball here more importantly, the Rockies are 0 for 2 on some of the finer points of the game in terms of offensive execution in this game. You had a runner at third after Cuevas moved Story, who had led off with a double, and Desmond hit it on the ground. He was thrown out at the plate. That's 0 for 1 in terms of offensive execution. And then Freeland looking at 2 pitches, and then the third one, the bunt, that turned into a force out at second, another opportunity to perhaps build a run. Here is a third opportunity. We know what happens at AT&T Park. Typically, it's going to be a low-scoring affair.
You got to take advantage of the opportunities in situational hitting. I'm going to give him one credit, though, for Cuevas' attempt going the other way.
That was great. Yeah. That's where we mentioned it. So he did his part, but after that.
But then and even going back to Kyle Freeland's bunt, he got it down. He just bunted it in the wrong direction. You want to bunt it to first base when there's a runner on first. You want to bunt it to third base when there's a runner at second.
Jenny and Allison are in the booth. Hey,
now it's a full house, Jenny.
Jenny, are you going to be watching the royal wedding tonight? Come here, stand over here so we can see you. Better they should see you than us.
That way you can get on the mic.
Hold on, dude, don't answer yet. We got to get a microphone. Oh, we have a spare.
I think we got plenty of stuff.
We have a spare. Where's Allison? Allison, are you watching the royal wedding? She looked at me with great disdain. No. That's up. 3-1 now on Story. Okay, we've given you a microphone. Jenny, are you watching the royal wedding?
Yes. Who's not watching the royal wedding?
See, Spilly and I are somewhat intrigued. Corey laughing at us.
I'm going to be pounding on your door
I'll be there.
at 4 a.m.
We're having a party.
We have a viewing party, right?
We're having a viewing party, yeah.
Are you bringing the snacks, Drew?
I'm bringing the room temperature beer.
I don't think that's appropriate on a work day.
Sleep it off.
It's a day game tomorrow.
Oh, it's still the night before. We can't have a libation the night before.
So you're going to stay up tonight?
No, I'm going to.
You're just going to go all night, prep for the royal wedding.
Lionel Richie.
During the commercial breaks, you can prep for the game, and then we'll just show up for a day baseball.
Line drive, base hit, Trevor Story.
He continues to crush left-handed pitching. Hit
Yes,
281
he does.
against
2
him
on,
this year.
nobody out. And Noel Cuevas coming up. I have a little bit of intrigue.
Who do you think designed the dress? That's the big question.
I don't care about any of that. I mean, first of all,
then what
I would
are you
have no.
intrigued about?
It's like, how could I answer that? I don't know
all
designers.
The designers.
Vera Wang. That's my. I'm going to take that.
What intrigues you then?
That sounded good, Mr. Academy Awards.
Am I wrong?
You're probably wrong. What intrigues you about it?
Well,
Janice has got Stella McCartney.
Who shows up on the guest list?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Heard the Clooneys are there.
Megan,
big arrival.
Beautiful. She's beautiful. She's stunning. Don't you agree?
Yes.
Stunning.
Yes. I was showing you a picture of a friend of mine that looks just like her.
You
today.
do. Jenny does have a friend that looks quite a bit like Meghan Markle.
This is making for great television. We should show the picture here.
If we start going to our phones and you're showing photos.
Photos of friends.
Oh, yeah.
All right, it's a full house up here for sure.
4th inning photos with friends.
I made the reference about Full House yesterday on the air. Drew didn't get it. Do you know what television show we're speaking of now?
Yeah, but I don't watch that show.
Okay, so I'm going to label you guys, right? There has to be a Danny.
I'm really hoping I'm Uncle Jesse.
Is that a bad thing, Spilly, that I'm Danny?
That's Bob Saget.
Bob Saget.
You're Bob Saget.
You're the dad.
You're funny in real life and serious on television.
Okay.
He was also really anal. He was very clean.
Yeah. Please, don't do it.
You're about to get buried.
I'm going to be Uncle Joey.
You're going to be Joey. Yeah. Actually, Spilly is Joey by personality for sure. I just can't see you as Jesse and the Ripper.
I'm Stamos.
I can't see you like rocking out with the mullet, but.
Here's the 1-1. Fouled off. What would happen if we went Modern Family then? Who's Spilly in Modern Family?
But do you understand the Full House reference? It was based in San Francisco. I just want to make sure.
No, I don't. I've never watched that show.
It was the television show. There's the house that they grew up in, and now there's a show that came back called Fuller House, where all the kids that grew up in the house, they're the adults now.
Well, I'm way behind again.
You're never going to catch up.
Probably not. And Cuevas goes down. Now there's 1 out, and that'll bring up Desmond.
All right, so
are they going to? They have a picture that they were. Are they going to put this? They're not allowed to put that on television. Okay, good thing. Okay. 2 on for Desmond with 1 out.
I love you being here.
I'm just standing in the background. I'm waiting for Dougie to pass me the note about what designer did Meghan Markle's dress, but he draws a line. He said, baseball only, folks.
That's so
I like that Sully actually came up with a designer that would be in the running.
Got no little fashion.
I got nothing for you.
What's your pick? Designer. Really?
It's going to be a British designer, I bet, right?
Isn't that Stella McCartney?
Or is she going to give a nod to America?
You know what? I would have no idea, but I would say that she'll probably give a nod to a U.S. designer.
And Corey, why do you know so much about dresses?
And then ridicule us for watching. Here's the 2-0. And change up 2-0. And Desmond way out front, 2-1.
All right, I got a lot of homework to do on the royal wedding for our watch party.
And we have to change the mojo here.
Okay, yeah, that means get out of here.
No, that does not mean get out of here. You're welcome to stay, obviously, but the Rockies have had a couple early opportunities against Derek Holland, and they got to find a way to come through. This ball's in the air to fairly deep left center field. Did Desmond get it? Yes, he did. 3-run home run for Ian Desmond.
I think the mojo has been changed.
Well, that certainly in Ian's mind will make up for that first at bat where he struggled to get the ball in the air. This one he got in the air and then some. Good for Desmond.
Ball's absolutely crushed, and for Ian Desmond, it has been such a struggle, to put it kindly. Especially when you're looking at his swing, he's trying to keep the front shoulder closed as long as possible, keep the hip closed as long as possible. It keeps the barrel in the strike zone.
David Dahl, bouncer to short. Crawford will throw him out. Break it down, Spilly.
Pay attention to the front hip on the Subaru Supermo. It's staying square. It's allowing the barrel to get through the zone. So now you can get that launch angle. It's center cut for him. The hip is still leaking out a bit, but it's getting closer. It's got to be closer.
You know, he grinds, he works at it, and it has been as rough a ride as he has had as probably a professional baseball player. When I say professional, you guys know what I mean. Forget the major league. You probably go back to his minor league days, and he has never gone through a period this difficult. But think, as you know, ugly as the average is, as difficult to watch for him as some of these at-bats have been, he's come up with some very big hits this year.
The game-winning home run in Washington, the 2-homer game that drove the offense in New York, and this homer right here for go-ahead RBIs. He may not be having the best offensive season, but he's managed to channel big hits at the right time.
Castro pulls that foul. Daniel had a base hit his first time up. A 3-run home run from Ian Desmond. He has 26 hits now. 14 have been extra base hits. He was 1 for his previous 18. In fact, prior to that, you want to go back a bunch of at-bats. 17 for his previous 132.
Yikes.
You guys as former players.
So here's the best way to describe it.
I know you feel for him.
We do. It's hard to watch. It's hard to watch somebody go through it because you understand the grind of the game. Even their teammates find it hard to watch. What kind of support do you give? Is it tough love? Because when somebody's going through that tough of a stretch, that tough of a grind, you know what the analytics are saying about you. You know what these advanced metrics are proving to you. You know how much you've cost certain at-bats and certain rallies throughout the course of the game. Luckily, the team's winning.
And the game, probably it seems to you that it always finds you.
It always finds you.
Yeah, the situational at-bats are always going to creep up on you. But it's not a switch you can flip. You can't just say, okay, guess what? I'm hitting a lot of ground balls. I got to get underneath the ball. No, you've got to fix the problem, the original problem, to get back to where you want to be.
Castro lobs this one out to shallow left, and it is going to be run down out there for the final out of the inning by Hernandez. But the struggling Ian Desmond parks a 3-run home run to deep left center field. His 7th home run of the year, and the Rockies now have a 3-1 lead, middle of 4th. On AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. A look across McCovey Cove. The Rockies leading 3-1 on an Ian Desmond 3-run home run last inning. Came off the bat at 103 miles an hour, traveled 393 feet. And now it'll be Buster Posey, Evan Longoria, Nick Hundley. 3, 4, and 5 in the Giants lineup against Kyle Freeland. The Rockies had gone 2 straight games without a home run until Desmond lost that baseball last inning. Only once this year had they gone 3 straight without hitting a home run. That was the first week of April. Posey a base hit his first time, and he takes a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Posey hitting .362 coming in at home. Two and 1.
It's an important inning for Kyle. After you have a adrenaline shot like that home run, and you get up 3-1, you got to take advantage of the opportunity, get the team back into the dugout as soon as possible.
Especially against the sticky part of their lineup. 3 and 1. Buster Posey, a young family, now makes his year-round home here in the Bay Area. Used to go back to Southern Georgia in the offseason.
Gerald Dempsey Posey III. Buster Posey. I wish we called him Gerald more often. It's a good name.
Doesn't have the same ring to it, does it? Another 3-2. And this will be a tough play for Castro, and he'll make it nicely. Good job to get around that baseball to the forehand to give him some momentum going back to first. Big first out.
Yep. Sign up to save a life. The Bonfils Blood Mobile will be in front of Coors Field near 20th and Blake Streets on May 30th, from noon till 4:30. Visit bonfields.org to sign up.
You know what, Corey?
Yeah.
That was well done. It's bond fees, though.
Is it?
Yeah, bond fees.
Thank you.
The first time I saw that years ago, it makes sense to say, pronounce the ILS.
Very phonetically.
Yes. Evan Longoria hit into a 5-4-3 double play his first time up. It's a 1-0 pitch on Longoria.
When Longoria was traded from Tampa Bay to the San Francisco Giants, he was going to have to change his number. Typically, he was number 3 in the big leagues. Number 3 is retired here in San Francisco. Bill Terry, longtime infielder, Giants for the New York Giants.
There's a cutter that got in on the hands. Desmond will make the catch. 2 outs.
Bill Terry was also a manager in the big leagues. How about this, though? Bill Terry was the last National League hitter
to hit 400.
He hit 401 in 1930.
You know, you get around teams like the Yankees, the Giants, the Dodgers that have been around forever. Sometimes there aren't numbers that are readily available.
With the Yankees, I mean, we can't be far removed from starting to see, and I'm not saying we're going to see triple digits, but you're going to start seeing a lot more 50s, 60s, 70s marched out there.
Is there anything left, 1 through 10?
8's gone twice, right?
8 has gone twice with the Yankees. There's the numbers retired with the Giants. So Mays, Juan Marichal, Willie McCovey. 2 outs, 1-1 the count on Nick Hundley. Hundley a ground ball to third his first time up. Dougie's favorite era of baseball, folks, is the first half of the 20th century. Sometimes I think it's the latter half of the 19th century. because of some of the nicknames that emanated from that period. But Doug just informed us that the year that Bill Terry, Spilly, hit 401, the last National Leaguer to hit over 400, the National League as a whole hit 303 that year.
Come on.
I think I saw a top 10 list, honestly, at one point of that year, and there were like 8 guys who hit over 370.
Dougie's scrambling now, grinning ear to ear. That's inside. That was the year Hack Wilson drove in 191. Hack Wilson.
Who was pitching in 1930? Come on.
They were throwing every day.
Well, it's not who was pitching, it's that they never came out.
Get your knocks.
3-2, and Nolan's going to come get this one. Good inning for Freeland. Corey Sullivan asked for a quick and efficient inning. He got one. The Rockies leading 3-1. We'll be back in 1 minute to go to the Rockies dugout and talk to Buddy Black. 2 men aboard. The struggling Ian Desmond hit a 3-run shot. We go to the Rockies dugout right now, and Buddy joins us. Buddy, I think from a baseball player's perspective, nobody feels one's pain more than a fellow teammate. Big swing of the bat from Ian Desmond, and I would think that whole dugout erupted maybe in a couple of ways. Can you describe for us?
Well, you're right, Drew. I think as soon as that ball left the bat, all the guys were yelling, "Get out of here, get out of here." As soon as it got out, I mean, guys were pounding on the dugout, you know, on the mats here, and yeah, guys were really happy for Ian for sure.
Let's talk about the start tonight, Kyle Freeland. What have you seen from him so far, selling after the first inning?
Well, I like how the slider showed up a little bit better that inning. Better break, more consistent in the strike zone. He's got a good life to the fastball. I know that. He's gotten in some kitchens on some fastballs in. So, so far so good for Kyle.
Hey, buddy, you played in San Francisco. Obviously, you didn't play in this ballpark. There's something about the Giants that seems to bring out the best in the Rockies. You've been here a year plus now. You notice it, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, again, this group played well here last year, played good against the Giants. So hope it continues, but I know that when we go into certain ballparks, certain venues against certain teams, I can see a little bit of heightened awareness of our guys, and it's pretty cool.
Hey, buddy, good luck the rest of the way. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
So the Rockies will have Kyle Freeland to lead off here in the 5th inning with the 2-run lead against Derek Holland, and his first pitch misses to Freeland. Kyle wants to pay Holland back. Holland has a knock against Kyle tonight.
Chad got his 3rd last night. Kyle's got 2 on the season. He doesn't want him to get too far ahead either.
And Herman's had a good year swinging the bat. Two and one. Three and one. I think it was Spilly. It may have been you, Sully. I can't recall, but talking about when you were mentioning lineup construction off the top of the broadcast tonight, imperative that this team starts to get some production outside the top 3 or 4. Kyle busting it.
Ooh.
Barely out at first. How many pitchers do that?
Not many.
Not many, but you got to be careful not to get hurt doing that, especially when you're getting to first base and lunging. Kyle Freeland on the Subaru Supermo. You got to be careful with that front foot because you can roll it.
Yeah, I'd almost rather see him go three-quarter jog to first.
Yeah, exactly. I get wanting to give a hard 90, and I appreciate the effort. But you have to be smart to keep yourself on the mound.
Here's Charlie with one out. Charlie in a little bit of a funk, 2 for his last 18. But going back to what we were talking about, getting production outside the top portion of the lineup. Last night, the Rockies were able to do that with Castro, and obviously the base hit's a bonus from the pitcher. But tonight, the struggling Ian Desmond batting 6th and throwing out a 3-run home run. It's huge.
It's obviously huge. The 3 RBIs last night as well. It's important for a different reason as well. Even just hits, because then you have an opportunity for Charlie Blackmon to come up with runners in scoring position. And he does an incredible job. Last year, over 100 RBIs as he gets out right there at first base. Holland beats him to the bag. But when you roll over a lineup, sometimes you may not see the effect of it for 3 innings, right? You get a big hit in the 6, 7, 8 spot, and you get Charlie or Nolan to hit again in the 8th or 9th inning. That's a big advantage because you're giving them another shot.
Iannetta strikeout and a ground ball to first on a check swing. Rockies, with their win last night here in San Francisco, snapped a 5-game losing streak here. That losing streak kind of snuck up on us because the Rockies were so dominant last year in the first few series against the Giants. They won 10 out of their first 11 encounters with San Francisco. And then the Giants kind of won the second half of the season series. And that included, at one point, a sweep here by the Giants over the Rockies. Rockies went 9-1 at home last year against the Giants, 3-6 here. One and one on your former teammate, Chris Iannetta. One and two. Spilly didn't get to run this stat out tonight because the Rockies did not score first, but they're up 3-1. When they do score first, they're 20-4. Scoring last's a good thing too.
Scoring last is a good thing as long as you have more runs than the other team.
You're so sharp.
But league-wide, Drew, it's close to 70% victories for teams that score first.
That gets your attention, doesn't it?
It really does. There's very few percentages in baseball that swing in your favor that dramatically. Scoring over 3 runs is another number that jumps pretty significantly up if you get over 3 runs, which seems obvious, but it's
especially in this yard.
Especially in this yard.
Crowd getting involved. 2-2, top of the 5th inning. 2 outs on Iannetta. He's hit 4 balls out this year. Next pitch will be number 96 for Holland, who's been past the 6th inning only once this year. And you go back to that first inning where he had a 1-2-3 inning, but it took him 26 pitches because Iannetta had a 13-pitch at bat. Blackmon had a lengthy at bat. And then Nolan had a fairly lengthy at bat.
We talked about the importance of getting into the pen after last night's lengthy game. With Holland's spot up 4th at the bottom half of this inning, I think you would expect to see that this would be his last inning if his spot comes up.
3-2. It'd be huge here if Chris can reach, because Boch is a veteran manager. You got a veteran arm out there. He may ask him if, you know, if the Giants go quietly next game, he may say, hey, listen, I need you to throw 110 tonight. But if Chris can reach and Nolan comes up, can throw that plan out the window, but he's able to get the strikeout on Iannetta. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. The Rockies leading 3-1 on a Desmond 3-run homer.
AT&T Park. We got 2 young Harris Junior College alumni in the house tonight. Rockies outfielder Charlie Blackmon and also Giants reliever Corey Guerin. The 2 were roommates in college. They shared a lot of memories, and Corey gave us some insight as to what those are and gave us some tips on how Charlie turned into Chuck Nasty.
From like practical joke kind of stuff where, you know, we had fire extinguishers blowing into each other's rooms, stuff like that. Or he's always been a very famous eater with our group, and he would just pack his cheeks full of food. He used to be like this little wiry, you know, 6 foot, 170-pound kid. Now he's a big guy. And I think it's a testament to the amount of food he can just throw in his mouth.
They went on to tell me that they used to call him chipmunk cheeks, and they said the amount of food that he could eat was unbelievable, and apparently that's what's helped him to turn into Chuck Nasty. So guys, when I heard that, I was laughing, but also kind of sad, because if I ate that much, I would not turn into an all-star.
Well, he is a freak when it comes to working out. Spilly, you spent some time working out with him a year ago.
He's just changed a lot of his habits. I mean, the way that Guerin remembers him is not the same way that Charlie is now. But if he can store food in your cheeks for that extended period of time, it makes for a great travel buddy.
Gives you good fuel in case you need it, right? Running low.
It's like a chipmunk.
Maybe that's why he grew the beard, so he can hide it. That way you don't know.
For all we know, his mouth is filled with stuff.
He's got granola in right now.
His beard may be. 1 strike on Austin Jackson. 2 strikes on Austin Jackson.
Spilly, you played with Charlie. Can you picture him as a practical joker? Because I can't.
No.
I can't at all.
He's stone-faced when he gets to the yard. He's a the switch guy.
Yeah.
Which is unusual, to completely be able to flip the switch. Swung on and missed. Freeland on 3 pitches strikes out Jackson. Second strikeout for Kyle. 2 quickly gone, and it'll bring up Kelby Tomlinson.
When I first met Charlie Blackmon in 2011, very quiet. The clubhouse was a little different. Typically, especially during that time frame, that generation of athletes who were brought up, if you're a rookie, you don't say much and you try to listen as much as possible. But Charlie was doing that. Clean-shaven, young Charlie, Chuck Nasty, and then he got hurt in Atlanta. In the rest of the season, Charlie was just, remember, he was going around on one of those
where your knees on the
wheelchair type thing. I don't know what that thing's called.
It's called the knees on the thing, and it rolls, and you use your other leg to move around.
That's how I remember Charlie, because that was my last year at the big leagues.
I know Charlie remembers you pretty fondly. He credits you for helping him understand that he had to be himself and believe that he belonged in the big leagues.
And we shared that story before. That sentiment that I passed on to Charlie was given to me from Larry Walker. Larry Walker challenged me at one point, when you believe in yourself and you believe you belong, your career will take off.
1-2.
My career never really took off.
You had plenty of moments in the sun, my friend. 2-2 with 2 outs on Tomlinson. Pitch number 72 coming up. A very economical number. And this one on 1 hop to Castro. Good play by Daniel. And a 1-2-3 inning. That's 7 in a row retired now by Kyle Freeland. Rockies leading 3-1. Nolan up first in the 6th. Baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And that's a gorgeous aerial look at AT&T Ballpark in San Francisco. The Rockies leading 3-1 with Ryan Spilborghs, Corey Sullivan, and Taylor McGregor. I'm Drew Goodman. 100th pitch upcoming for Derek Collins. So it's, as we were guessing, Bruce Bochy asking his veteran pitcher after the bullpen had to absorb a number of innings last night to keep on going. Arenado 0 for 1 and a walk. He scored in the 4th inning on the 3-run home run by Desmond. And that first pitch is too high, ball 1. You guys got to play in most every ballpark in baseball. For me, this is one of the great atmospheres in the big leagues. Forget the cold temperatures, the difficulty in hitting here for a moment. From an atmosphere standpoint, where did it rank for you guys?
Number 1, unquestionably. I can't even think of I mean, Dodger Stadium maybe?
That's my number 1. Just the sound system and everything, the energy that's involved. But this is right there.
You don't get called a bum for an entire series.
1-1. This ball lifted to deep left. It's got some turn on it, and it'll avoid Hernandez on his way to second with a double as Nolan.
Nolan now sitting 391 when he leads off an inning. He gets a fastball that is up from Derek Holland. They were looking for it away and down. Nolan does what he does all the time. He finds a way to get hits. I think it's funny that in the interview that you did with him. He talked about people were telling his numbers were great and best he's had in his career. And he was like, I just don't feel like I'm doing any damage. Well, to lead off an inning, you are, Nolan.
9th double this year for Arenado. Kurt Young, the pitching coach, coming out. They have had Reyes Moranta throwing now for the better part of a full inning. Rockies will try to build another run. They have Trevor Story, who's 2 for 2. A double and a sharp single in the 4th.
The way that Kurt Young walked out to the mound, it makes me think that Bruce Bochy's going to try to come up quickly to make sure that Moranta is ready for Trevor Story.
Yeah, you wouldn't think he'd allow the lefty to face Story again the way Trevor's hit lefties. He's going to let him see him here. Ball 1.
Story's done very well hitting 4th for the Rockies. 16 games, 274 batting average, 15 RBIs. And Corey, you pointed this out yesterday when we were watching Trevor Story. The quality of the bat that we've seen from him over the last month has been fantastic.
I think a lot of it is pinned down to slowing the game down and pitch recognition. I think when you're seeing the ball well and identifying what they're throwing, you're going to be in a better position to hit. And when you're sped up, you never even, I don't think you even really see the baseball.
Well, the chase percentage, to your point, has gone down significantly the last several weeks. The strikeout percentage has gone down. Contact percentage naturally up. Production up. Got under this one just a little bit. You're going to get a tag, and Nolan is going to move up. So Story hit it deep enough. He missed that by an eyelash. And now another chance to drive in a run, this time for Noel Cuevas.
Good job by Nolan to move up from 2nd to 3rd. Good read. Understanding for an outfielder to get behind the baseball, make the throw. It's difficult. You want to challenge an outfielder for 300 feet, see if you can beat him 90 feet running, but take a couple steps after sliding into 3rd. A little awkward slide for him.
Cuevas aggressive, but got an off-speed pitch, and it's 0-1. Noel, a line drive to deep right to move Story, who had a leadoff double in the 2nd, and then he struck out with runners at 1st and 2nd in the 4th. Desmond picked him up with a 3-run home run. 3-1 Colorado, top of 6. What do you tell yourself here? You chased 2 off-speed pitches. It's 0-2.
You just trust yourself. It's 2 strikes. Who cares? Still has to throw 1 more.
Go with a good 2-strike approach. Use the middle part of the field.
Can't be scared to hit with 2 strikes, regardless of the situation.
This ball crushed to deep left. If it's fair, it may be gone. It is not quite gone, and it's foul. The ball faded hard left. Off the bat, thought it had a chance. Danger throwing that breaking ball in the inner half. Left that over the plate. Pitch number 108 coming up.
Let's see where he strikes out. You can tell what Holland is trying to do. He's trying to pound him in with fastballs and then slow him down with some off-speed pitches. See if he can either get him to roll over to 3rd or get him to chase.
Cuevas hits this ball in the air to Crawford, who'll make the catch for out number 2. And that'll bring up Desmond. Time for the Coors Light refreshing finish. Ian Desmond, mired in as difficult a slump as he has ever been in, launches a 3-run home run in the 4th with the Rockies down 1-0. Two outs, Arenado at third. And this ball's well hit to center field. And this one is going to take a hop and go over the wall. Desmond has knocked in all 4. How do you like that? 4-1 Colorado.
Good for Ian. That's great. For everything he's gone through, and just imagine the Twitter world exploding today, how much they love him. To get a pitch, get a ball up, hanging curveball.
And think about how this day started for Ian Desmond. Speaking of the Twitter world, they'll probably say, oh, more of the same. Ian had an opportunity to drive in a run in the 2nd with a runner at 3rd and 1 out. And he grounded out. High fly ball down the 3rd base line, and it's caught out there, and that will retire the side. But a leadoff double by Arenado, cashed in by Desmond. He's driven in all 4 tonight. 4-1 Rockies. First 4 ribby game of the year for Ian Desmond. He had several of those last year. And Kyle Freeland's been rolling along. He's retired 7 straight. Now you can watch your favorite Isotope stars make their journey to the big leagues with the Rockies. AT&T Sportsnet, your home for Rockies baseball all season long. And is available on most cable and satellite packages. Visit AT&TSportsnet.com for channel information. 9-1-2. And this is Miguel Gomez, a switch hitter, pinch hitting. Breaking ball for a strike.
I want to point out about the last inning because it comes into play the extra inning game that the Giants played the night before. That was a fairly obvious situation where you want to see a right-hand reliever come in and face Noel Cuevas and face Ian Desmond, especially with 2 outs. But Bochy, because of the bullpen and the probably short guys that they have available to him, he had to force Holland to try to get an extra out.
And a strikeout of Gomez on 3 pitches. Yeah, you could see it, knowing Boch as we do and having watched him manage forever, and knowing that he had a veteran guy out there, he was going to push him a little bit.
He had to.
He had to. Now the other side of the coin is something we mentioned late last night with Kyle Freeland going. I know they talked about it a little bit during the postgame show. In a perfect world, you wanted great length out of Freeland. The Rockies are getting that.
For Derek Holland, he threw 112 pitches tonight. He has not thrown that many pitches since 2015.
Season high was his last start, 104 pitches. And anytime a pitcher gets in that scenario, they tend to make more mistakes.
1-1. Hernandez, a home run and a walk. After the home run, there's been only 3 base runners against Freeland. A Posey single with 1 out in that first inning. A 1-out hit by Holland, of all people, in the third. That goes foul, and that was followed up by Hernandez walking. Remember, it was first and second, kind of a stressful deal. The Rockies were down 1-0. You have Andrew McCutchen at the plate, and he hits into a 5-3 inning-ending double play. Nolan was right around the bag. He fielded the ground ball, touched the bag, and fired across. End of any kind of drama. And since that point in time, you talk about shutting the door. That's what Kyle Freeland's done.
Yeah, he's retired 8 straight. He's done a great job of pitching in on right-handed hitters, elevating when needed. It just comes down to execution. He's executed his game plan. You know, after the 3rd inning this season, he's really had some trouble 4 innings on. He's got over a 5 ERA in that scenario. Obviously, the last 4 starts, he's pitched very effectively, but he's doing it again tonight.
That's a great pitch. Went back to the slider on the outside corner.
The other thing I want to point out with Kyle Freeland, we saw it, this offseason, he spent some time cleaning up his mechanics, trying to get rid of that little toe tap that he had. He's sort of kind of reintroducing a different version with his leg kick.
That is strike 3, all over the zone, a cutter. 2 strikeouts in a row, 3 out of the last 4 strikeouts. And Freeland with 2 outs will face Andrew McCutchen. Look again at this.
You see the cutter come out of his hand. As a hitter, when you see that, you know it's going to break in on you, and you can't necessarily fire your swing right there. And he wasn't able to. And back to Spilly's point about the pause that he's got now on that leg kick, it really does help slow him down, because one of the things that he had as a problem was flying open and not staying on line. It slows him down and helps him stay on line.
And it's evolved, because earlier in spring training when we first saw it, there wasn't this second kind of kickstart pointed out right here while you're watching.
0-1 on McCutchen. Pop foul out of play. The other thing that this young group of starters has, and this is not always a given at the highest level, they are ultra competitive. And what I mean by that, yeah, anybody who gets to this level has to be competitive. They're at a different level.
Yeah, they compete not just internally, but in everything they do. And that usually helps breed a winning atmosphere. When you're competing on a daily basis, whether it's how you tie your shoes or not, it helps you out.
Freeland, see you later. What an inning by Kyle Freeland. McCutchen didn't much like the call. He struck out the side. He freezes Hernandez and McCutchen. We're off to the 7th. The Rockies leading 4-1. It's the duo of Desmond and Freeland tonight.
Coors Field is a great place for group outing. Groups of 20 or more receive discounted pricing, scoreboard recognition, and more. Call today for more information. We've got a new pitcher on the mound, Reyes Moranta. He's got a really, really big fastball, 96.4 miles per hour on the average fastball. It'll be his 19th appearance on the season. You see that he's got a 1.4 ERA. Has walked a few guys, 13 walks in 19 innings pitched. Look for them to be a little bit patient and attack that big fastball.
Here's Castro, and he swings through that fastball on the outside corner. Castro is 1 out of 2 tonight. Crowd at just under 41,000 at AT&T Park on a Friday night. The Rockies trying to make it 2 straight against the Giants. Trying to improve to 3-1 on this 9-game road trip. Right side, Posey will not have a play. Earlier tonight in New York, behind Jacob deGrom, the Mets beat the Diamondbacks 3-1. So the issues for the Diamondbacks continue. If the Rockies can hang on here, they'll wake up tomorrow morning or go to bed tonight a half game out in the National League West.
Or not go to bed at all and watch the Royal Wedding.
Right. And either way, they'll be a half game out.
There you go.
Castro with well, he got robbed. McCutchen came in and he makes a semi-diving catch. He's playing pretty shallow initially, and that enabled him to get to that Castro liner.
McCutchen's done this to many, many hitters over the last couple of years. Typically, it's been in center field. And for McCutchen, even though he's been struggling offensively, this is the effort you'd like to see from veteran players, from any type of player, is pick up your teammates on the defensive side.
Yeah, don't take the at-bat out into the field.
And he doesn't.
Freeland takes a strike. McCutchen won a Gold Glove back in 2012. That was his MVP year. Next year, Buster Posey won the MVP. Or was it the other way around?
I feel like he won it in 2013. Andrew McCutchen.
Well, I know this much. They did win it back-to-back years. Yeah, it was McCutchen in 13 and Posey in 12. Got a quick trivia question for all of you out there. Buster Posey was also the National League Rookie of the Year back in 2010. Prior to him winning in 2010, who was the last Giant to win a Rookie of the Year? Dougie will love this. Dougie, don't cheat for them, by the way.
Matt Williams?
It was not Matt Williams. The reason Doug will love this is this player had a great nickname.
Oh, yes. All right. So if it's for Dougie, it means we have to date back to the dead ball era.
Right. Not quite. Why are you writing something down? Is this how you got through Dayton? Just cheating away?
That's how I got through UCSB.
This ball sharply hit.
Wait, you got through it?
Nah, I'm still getting through it. 13 years later, 17 years later. Oh my gosh. I really need to get that class finished.
Just finish that one class.
I have. More than enough units to graduate from UCSB. They're just not accredited from a real university.
Are you guys going to guess?
I'm trying to think of, I'm going through my list of names.
Can you give us?
I said he has a great nickname. Strike 3 on Freeland. 2 outs.
Position player or pitcher?
Pitcher.
The Freak.
It was not the Freak. It's a good guess, though. What are you doing now? There, you're cheating again. This is ridiculous. I cannot turn my back on Marino.
I'm not looking that way.
You can guess by writing something down. Charlie's up. We're going to give the answer in about 5. See, I go like this, folks, and Marino, who's over here, is mouthing to them the answer. Yes, that's the right answer. Okay, you got it right. John Montefiusco.
The Count.
The Count of Montefiusco in 1975.
A little bit before my time.
I feel like we should have known that, knowing how much we love that book and movie.
One and 0 on Blackman. 2-0 on Charlie. 0 for 3. 2 fly balls to center field and a ground ball to Posey. 4-1 Colorado. Oh, this is wild. This is like, you know where the high school scoreboard sometimes goes out? That's what's happened here at AT&T. This is wishful thinking by the operator. He has it as a 0-0 game. Nobody has a hit.
It hasn't started yet.
We just started over.
Yeah, we got to sing the anthem again. Two and 2. We can document the fact that the Rockies have 4 runs and the Giants have 1 if they ask. Got the count right, not the inning or the score. Modern technology, Sully, huh?
We are all at its mercy.
And that was strike 3. We'll stretch in San Francisco, whether it's the first or the 7th. The Rockies up 4-1. Look back, you'll enjoy this look back. Well, not this particular pitch. Corky Hernandez in the first hit one out to center field. Giants up 1-0. But then Ian Desmond, the struggling Ian Desmond, a 3-run home run. And the Rockies would add on. Desmond's next at bat with Nolan Arenado, who doubled at third. A ground rule double. He has all 4 RBIs tonight. And on the hill, number 21 has been special. After that home run to Hernandez, he's allowed just 3 other base runners. He'll face Posey here leading off in the 7th. This is the 5th consecutive start, by the way, for Freeland that he's worked into the 7th inning. That's good stuff, especially in this day and age.
He's done a great job of being efficient with his pitches, attacking in. He's gotten 11 ground ball outs, 2 fly ball outs, and 5 punch outs.
And a broken bat roller to Story. He'll throw out Posey. You made an observation, and we were looking at heat maps, we were looking at pitch sequences the last 4 starts, which have all been great ones for Freeland. Now you include this one, it's 5. And you said early on that he's handling right-handed hitters better because he's coming in firm. Last year, righties had an on-base percentage of .366 against him. This year, to your observation, a .304 on-base percentage. That is an enormous change.
It is, and really it's a mindset. Spilly and I talk a lot, and so does Huey, about pitching in and how it makes hitters uncomfortable. You want to be able to extend your arms, extend your hands, get something you can drive. But when you're effectively pitching in for strikes, you can see it right there. He's moving their feet. He's not letting them get comfortable. It really does get in your head as a hitter where you're thinking inside conscious. And then the next thing you know, he gives you that changeup away like he did Buster, and you ground out weakly and break your bat.
1-1 on Longoria. Cutters in.
And now that he's added a curveball, he started Buster Posey with a curveball in the 7th inning, that you're forcing the hitter to pay attention to multiple pitches that he hasn't had before.
And he doesn't have to throw a dozen of them.
Nope. You just have to throw
4, 5, 6, enough.
Just enough.
Just enough that it's in your mindset, right?
Yes, and you have to be able to throw it for a strike, though. Otherwise, the hitter will go up there and can the pitch and say, I'm not even going to factor it in. But if he spins it up there 0-0 and you see it first pitch, you're like,
a strike.
I gotta factor it in.
Brian Shaw, Mike Dunn. 2-1. And Longoria, line drive to center, that'll drop. Just the 4th hit for the Giants. First for Longoria, 1 out, and that'll bring up Nick Hundley.
Streaks were made to be broken. Make history and win $5.6 million. Download Beat the Streak today in the App Store or on MLB.com/BTS.
Well, you should involve yourself with that because everyone who knows you says you're the luckiest guy that they know.
Well, you might have to venture into that. I know Holiday had a good Beat the Streak going.
At 14, I think, on radio.
Yeah.
Strike 1 on Hundley.
Now
Nick has twice hit the ball on the ground to Nolan.
Now Holiday, now a regular on MLB Network Radio. You can hear him twice a week at least.
Catch Spilly tomorrow morning.
That's right.
We use the term pounding the zone for a pitcher. That is what Freeland's done tonight. He's thrown 92 pitches, 60 for strikes, 32 out of the zone. Actually, they have it at 59-33. You get the point. 0-2. That ball line foul. On the plus side, what Freeland's done tonight, he showed you Shaw and Dunn warming up, vitally important because Ottavino worked 2 innings yesterday. Jake McGee 2 special innings. They're, in all likelihood, down tonight.
A double play ball would be fantastic. If you can summon one up.
Rockies have turned 2 tonight behind Kyle.
I'm thinking double play.
Another 0-2. Hundley 2 years in a Rockies uniform. Played for Buddy Black in San Diego. And one day when Nick sets off into the sunset, he's going to put together a very nice big league career and a lengthy big league career. Ground ball to third. No one's got to wait for it. There's one and unable to turn. It just wasn't hit hard enough. So Castro did all he could hanging in, knowing that Longoria was going to spill him. 2 outs.
I've really come to appreciate watching Castro as a second baseman with his ability to make the turn, waiting in long enough to try to make the turn. Longoria does what you're taught now this day and age. You have to slide directly into the bag.
Crawford, ground ball to short, and a ground ball to first. 13 ground balls, only 2 in the air tonight against Kyle Freeland.
You gotta be careful with Crawford. He's hitting about 300 against lefties this year.
And he lines one to right for a base hit. Hundley's going to go first to third. Always a place to go on the baseball field. Nolan backed that up, but David Dahl was coming flying in from left field. You two guys were outfielders. His buddy comes out. Even though the play was in the infield, David Dahl was pursuing that as well. 2 on, 2 outs. Austin Jackson coming up, who has struck out twice against Freeland. What a job by Freeland. He walks off after 6 2/3. Rockies +3 on the scoreboard. Brian Shaw now aboard with 2 outs. The tying runs at the plate. It was scheduled to be Austin Jackson, but he's been called back, and this was the card you knew that would be played at some point. Brandon Belt. He's hit a home run in each of his last 4. And the cutter for strike 1. Shaw this year, lefties have hit .269 against him. Hundley's at third. Crawford at first. 4-1 Colorado. Yesterday, Brian Shaw, in an inning of work, struck out the side. It's as dominant as we've seen him in a while. He's had some issues, particularly at home. 1-1 he went. There's that vicious mid-90s cutter.
Here's Shaw last night. His last 7 games, it's been 6 1/3. He struck out 11, and the cutter was absolutely filthy, both to righties and lefties. important to note, too, when you're watching a guy like Brandon Belt, even though he's hit home runs in 3 straight games, this is not a typical role for him to hit.
That pitch, we got the upper corner of the Subaru strike zone. 2-2. This is the 500th appearance for Brian Shaw in his terrific career. 2-2. Fouled it off his leg, and he'll hobble around. And you know how many pitchers have appeared in 500 games all time? 400, right on the money. Now that Brian Shaw enters that grouping.
I have to correct myself. It's 4 straight games with a home run for Brandon Belt. And for a guy like him, you don't want to give him too many more pitches to start getting loose.
Another 2-2. Crawford will be moving at first. Story's right up the middle. Castro is about 10-12 feet on the outfield grass. Freeland can only watch and root for Shaw. 3-2. He's got him, strike 3. All over the outside corner. And we march on to the 8th. Brian Shaw strikes out Brandon Belt. 4-1 Colorado. By Southwest Airlines, low fares, no hidden fees, that's transparency. And by Cheyenne Frontier Days, log on to cfdrodeo.com for the full lineup. And this Rockies bullpen, particularly on the road, has been lights out. Brian Shaw getting the biggest out of the ball game, striking out the pinch hitter Brandon Belt. Wrap that arm up now. Keep it warm. A couple changes defensively for the Giants, as Moranta will stay on the hill for his second inning of work. The Rockies will have Iannetta, Arenado, and Story. Brandon Belt will play left field. Gorkys Hernandez will slide to center for Austin Jackson, who is pinch hit for. Slider, strike 1. And another strike on a slider. Same spot, 0-2. Iannetta 0 for 3 tonight, a couple of strikeouts. Ground ball to short. Nolan tonight has hit a ground ball to Crawford. He walked and scored in the 4th. Doubled leading off the 6th and scored on Ian Desmond's ground rule double.
The first 15,000 fans through the gates for the Rockies versus Reds game on May 26th will receive a 25th anniversary season all-time 25 rostered t-shirt, courtesy of 106.7 The Bull.
Ball 1 on Nolan at 96. Moranta last year came up and got in 7 ball games for the Giants. Struck out 11 and 6 2/3. In his minor league career, he struck out 310 in 245 innings. That's mowing guys down.
The Giants came into tonight's game with the 11th hardest throwing bullpen in baseball, averaging about 93 miles an hour. Moranta, the hardest thrower of the group.
Outside, 2-1.
Moranta sports the number 54, former fan favorite, Sergio Romo, who, by the way, is starting tomorrow for the Tampa Bay Rays. They're going bullpen day.
Do you catch that? 3-1. It's going to be Johnny Holstaff tomorrow for the Rays.
And they've been doing this. This has been something that they've been talking about because it's very cost savings to be able to do an all bullpen day.
They run out of 4-man rotation, and they do this once a week, sometimes twice every 15 days. Try and stretch out that bullpen. It's an interesting tactic. I know Brian Kenny's been preaching it for a long time.
You know, Tampa, they're obscured by New York and Boston in that division. This is going to find an opening. No. That's a good play by Kelby Tomlinson. With the shift, thought that was going to sneak through. I know Nolan thought he was going to get a knock there. 2 outs, that'll bring up Story. But Tampa came into tonight's play 20 and 22. New York and Boston, they're going to slug it out the whole year. Baltimore, you start wondering when they begin selling off players.
It's got to be soon.
Well, I think if you wait, you maximize value, right?
Yeah, but you also run the risk of somebody getting hurt.
You know, Manny Machado will be sought after. Teams will try and get him before the deadline, even though he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year.
I wouldn't be surprised if teams are calling on him right now. They want to be preemptive. Two 2-0 on Story. Double, single, and a deep fly ball to left. 4-1 Colorado.
We've been talking a little bit about Trevor Story and the adjustments he's made. Up until April 15th, he was hitting 177. Since then, he's been hitting 280.
Yeah, he was really grinding for 2-3 weeks at the start of the season. Way inside. Yeah, you keep your fingers crossed. We've said this a couple times when Ian has thrown out a good ball game, that would be, you know, the new launching point for him to, you know, find his spot. Water finds its level for guys who've been in the big leagues a long time. He's close to a lifetime 270 hitter. 3-1. 3-2.
Yeah, the importance for Ian, I think, is now repeating it. Having the ability to repeat the feelings that he's had at the plate, the things that he's trying to do, the adjustments he's trying to make. Again, baseball's such a result-oriented sport that we don't always see that it's successful. The adjustments are successful.
Outside, Story Walks on a 3-2 pitch. That'll bring up Cuevas. Cuevas is a very aggressive hitter. I wonder here if he'll take a pitch or two to give Story a chance to run, because up by 3 with 2 outs, a situation where if you think the times are right, you try to run because there's a lot to be gained and little to be lost.
Sure, but you want to, ideally, you want to go first pitch if you can, because you want to give the hitter as many opportunities to swing at strikes. This is where your homework comes into play, making sure you already know and understand what kind of leg kick he has so you don't have to see it.
Ground ball toward the hole. That's going to get through. So the Rockies have 2 men on, and here comes Desmond again. Have a night. He's already had a big one. Well, here's his evening in pictures. Second at bat, 2 men aboard. And he loses one 3 rows deep to left center field. Rockies went from a 1-0 deficit to a 3-1 lead. Then he got a hanging breaking ball, and he almost hit it out again. That brought home Nolan. He has all 4 ribbies tonight. Victimized his former teammate Derek Holland. And now he's facing Reyes Moranta. Get the fat part of the bat on the ball twice with results. The confidence does a 180, doesn't it?
It can, but you also understand it's one game. And not to go back to bad habits right away. You start getting confidence, you start thinking you can do more than you're capable of doing.
It's Valdez getting loose. 1-2.
I'd love to see him with 2 strikes, being able to punch the ball opposite field. Then I'll start going, all right.
Longoria to second, and the Rockies will leave 2 aboard in the 8th inning. They have a 4-1 lead. Time for our Kubota pitching performance. Kyle Freeland has 5 straight outstanding starts. He goes 6 2/3, a run on 5 hits. He struck out 5, walked only 1. Was efficient with 97 pitches. Within an out of going 7 complete. Kelby Tomlinson takes a front door cutter for strike 1. Brian Shaw struck out the pinch hitter Brandon Belt to finish off the 7th. He'll be asked to get through the 8th. And that's his, he calls it a curveball. It has depth, but it looks like a slider. Velocity-wise, you think more slider.
You're talking 16 miles an hour off that fastball, though. There's no way a hitter can stay back that long.
One more note on Kyle Freeland. His last 5, fellas, a 1.59 ERA.
It's 6 earned runs and 34 innings pitched. He's done a phenomenal job making the adjustments and pitching inside.
0-2. 1-2. See ya. Ooh, wow. How is that not called strike 3? How is that not strike 3?
I'm not sure. On the Subaru Supermo, you can see where it's located, pretty much right down the middle and up. You know, the Giants can't complain about the strike zone tonight.
Story, 1 out. Time for the Lowe's whole team together. You know, the bullpen last night, 6 shutout innings, only 2 hits, 8 punch outs, couple of walks. And the last 5 games overall, 3 earned runs covering almost 19 innings. Gregor Blanco is going to pinch hit in the pitcher's spot. Gregor's got to wait for Brian O'Nora, who had to mark it on his scorecard. There's a strike. You know what's interesting about this Rockies team is they hope to move 5 games north of 500 tonight. Castro, 2 outs. On the road, where they're 17-9, they have the 5th worst offense by runs scored in baseball right now. However, they have the 5th best pitching staff by runs allowed. So the old adage that's been around forever, good pitching beats good hitting every time. That's the Rockies on the road in 2018.
They've done an incredible job going out on the road, keeping the team in the ball game. Even better than that, they're actually performing phenomenally well. They're not just keeping them in games; they're actually winning the ball game for them.
Yep. They've got dominant starting pitching, and then in close games, a lights-out bullpen. You know, I know last night Chad was upset giving up that 2-run home run to Belt in the 6th inning, but still, at the end of the evening, it's 6 runs. Excuse me, it's 3 runs on in 6 innings pitch. It's a solid outing yet again for Chad Bettis.
And we talked to Chad about that pitch, and he said it was a good pitch. It was on its way down. The changeup was down. Sometimes you just have to tip your cap to Brandon Belt.
Swung on and missed. How about Brian Shaw? He got 4 outs tonight, 2 strikeouts, 2 weak ground balls. We'll go to the 9th. The Rockies in charge, 4-1.
we head to the top of the 9th. That means the Toyota post-game show right around the corner. Jenny Kavnar back with you. Jeff Houston's going to join me. We have plenty to talk about. Kyle Freeland, his 5th consecutive quality start tonight. We'll be talking about the starter and the length that he gave this team, much needed after yesterday and extra innings. Plus Ian Desmond, a big hero right now. But I really want to talk to the guys in the booth about dresses for the royal wedding because I did my homework. I think Corey might be right. By the way, on the Stella McCartney pick, I'm going to go with Ralph and Russo. That's kind of out there as well. And I thought maybe, you know, Spilly and Sully. That sounds like a good, perhaps, brand that you guys could start. The Spilly and Sully brand.
I like it.
I can make a dress.
Yeah. Jenny's going to put in the seed money for it. Drew, you in?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
What is it called?
Sully and Spilly.
Top of the line stuff.
Yeah.
We call it the two-headed monster.
Yep, it'd be great.
David Dahl, quiet night, 0 for 3, couple fly balls and a ground ball. He's facing Jose Valdez here in the top of the 9th. The Rockies leading 4-1. Rockies have out-hit the Giants tonight 7-5.
We always have to point out, having played and been in certain roles like David Dahl, here's Valdez's numbers, is reminding yourself, even though you're not getting the everyday at-bats that you'd probably like to get, not to put too much weight on the results of the game.
You guys said something interesting to me. We were chit-chatting in the dugout late this afternoon, and I asked all three of you guys, Jeff Houston as well, I said, is there anything you miss about your playing days? This ball's in the air to left field, Belt's out there, 1 out. And I'll give the answer that both of you guys said, and then Jeff Houston kind of chimed in the same vein, and it kind of surprised me. You know, I said, you miss the clubhouse, being with the fellas. I get that. That's kind of commonplace. But you both said at virtually the same time you miss pinch hitting. And Jeff said, yeah, he goes, I missed it too because when you came up with a hit, you fell on top of the world. But it's kind of like the last thing I thought you guys would say.
Well, it is the most stressful thing you can do on a baseball field, but it's also, I kind of feel like, the most rewarding because typically when you're pinch hitting, you're in big moments in the game and you have an opportunity to win the game for your team or tie the game. And that adrenaline rush it's unparalleled.
Really is. And most people don't expect anything out of a pinch hitter. So if you do get a hit, you get to kind of walk around and go, see?
When were the butterflies percolating the most?
As a pinch hitter?
Well, no, in the course of your career.
Defense, with the game on the line.
Really?
It's nerve-wracking.
Do you feel the same way?
No. I loved every moment on defense, but I will say the most nerves I ever had was my first time on the field, which was on defense.
Oh, look at that party.
That is a party boat. I'm on a boat.
The Chardonnay Commodore.
And the Chardonnay's flowing. Gerardo Parra pinch hitting here for Brian Shaw. And he takes strike 1.
See, these were the at-bats that Corey and we relished.
Mike Dunn, Wade Davis in the Rockies' pen. And a sharp single for Gerardo. Will allow Charlie to get a 5th at bat. Who Wants Tacos fans, follow us at AT&T Sportsnet RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies Taco Special when the Rockies score 7 or more in a game. Well, nothing feels better. Pinch hit.
It's the best feeling. You're standing at first. Your day's done, kind of. You still have to run around. You're probably not going to play defense. He might have to put it on his right fielder's glove. You never know.
0-1 on Charlie, 0 for 4.
It's been a bit of a grind for Charlie Blackmon in the last 15 games. He's hit below 250 during the time frame.
This is 2 for his last 21. Things you don't worry about with the Colorado Rockies. It begins right there with number 19.
But that goes to show you how hard this game is.
Sure.
I mean, he's one of the best players in the game. Dusty Baker, when we were talking to him yesterday, said, I love watching Charlie Blackmon hit.
Hey, Mike Trout right now went into tonight 0 for his last 19, the worst slump of his career. It happens, as you guys know better than anybody. It is, as Corey just said, a brutally difficult game.
It happens, but isn't it funny when that's considered a slump, 0 for 19? Like for you and me, it was more like he's 3 for 75.
Right.
Yeah, 0 for 19.
He's 0 for 2 tonight, Mike Trout. So make that.
McConley break his glove.
Valdez broke his glove.
We joked too when Nolan went to the Miami series. He started out 0 for 9, and then he got a hit in his last at bat in Miami, and that's a slump for Nolan. 0 for 9.
Yeah. And I think more so than ever, and the statistics will bear this out, it's harder than it's ever been in the history of the game to hit. You got quote unquote, and I say this respectfully, you know, the mop-up guys who throw in the upper 90s.
I pointed out about Andrew McCutchen's year. The guy's hitting 240. But if you look at some of the numbers and some of the StatCast numbers, launch angle, all these things, batting average, ball in play, it says McCutchen should be hitting right around 300.
Good swing by Charlie.
There are times as an athlete, and Corey, you know this, where the game comes really easy for a stretch. For a guy like Charlie, the game's come a lot easier. And maybe not saying easy is a fair statement, but the game feels
rhythmic.
Rhythmic. There you go. That's a great way of describing it. And then you lose your rhythm, just like the people on that party boat.
Yeah.
2 outs, 1 and 2 on Charlie. Well, it is exactly what you've noted. The batting average has gone down 9 points just from last year. Slugging percentage so far this year is off 19 points. That's not a small deviation. And you know, the summer months are coming. Maybe those numbers will pick up some. Hopefully, certainly for the Rockies, you would assume it will, based on how they've performed at home offensively thus far.
It's been the most games in baseball history that started at temperatures in the 40s. So yes, once it starts warming up, the bats will warm up.
4-1 Rockies. Parra takes off, and Hundley's throw is not going to get him. Rockies continue to steal bases at a very efficient rate.
And you see Gerardo's first step right there. That was a great jump. As soon as Valdez lifted his leg, he took off. Good late slide into second base, making it harder for the tag. When the Rocks are aggressive out on the bases, we talk about the pressure it puts on you. Now Charlie gets to switch from trying to do a little bit of damage to a good 2-strike approach, putting the ball in play.
5 stolen bases in 6 attempts for Parra, and the club as a whole stealing bases now at an 80% clip. That's outstanding. Charlie looking for his 22nd RBI. High fly ball, deep right field. McCutchen going back, looking up, 2-run home run. How about his 22nd and 23rd RBIs? Make it 6-1 Colorado. Number 12 for Chuck Nasty.
Charlie waiting to get a pitch. 2 strikes, bounce some pitches off. And a hanging slider. Charlie does not miss. In his legs, high finish. And then you're just praying that this baseball goes out.
That was one of the higher launch angles I've seen.
Those are those jugular runs that Bud Black loves to see.
And you know what? You could save some bullets tonight for Wade Davis. He's walking off the mound. Mike Dunn will continue throwing. That's the 11th road home run for Blackman, tied for the National League lead with Ozzie Albies of Atlanta. 2-1 on Iannetta.
Kind of goes back to the point we're trying to make about good hitters, even though you go through stretches where you're not getting the results you want, keeping that confidence. And now you hit that home run. Where do you think his confidence feels right now?
It's not at an all-time high, but it's pretty close.
3-2 on Chris. He scores 6 runs at AT&T Park. It's a big number. And now it's, tell you, probably 90+% of the time it's a winning number. Iannetta walks. Here comes Arenado.
I had this number for the Giants and the Giants end. Since AT&T Ballpark opened in 2000, if the Giants scored 4 more at home, their record was 634 and 161. That is basically a 78% winning percentage. So 4 runs here.
Gets it done.
Gets it done.
Nolan tonight, 1 for 3 and a walk. He scored 2 runs. Led off the 4th with a walk, would score on the 3-run home run by Desmond. Led off the 6th with a double and would score a couple hitters later when Desmond had a ground rule double over the center field wall. Two 2-0. Kyle Freeland on the plus side. Derek Holland is not. We chatted mid-game, as we do every Friday night, with Buddy Black. There's something about the Giants that brings out the best in the Rockies. And when you talk to the players, they love playing here. And it's what you guys said. Great atmosphere, great baseball fans, great competition.
I mean, you're typically playing against a team that's competing for the division every single year, excluding last year. The fans are involved, the electricity. It's like a playoff atmosphere every night. I mean, tonight it was 40,000 fans. They sold out how many games in a row up until last year?
For years.
Yeah. That's an environment you want to play in.
Evan Longoria, chatting with him today, said it's as much as he enjoyed being in Tampa, they had a lot of success, but playing night in and night out in front of big crowds, he said that is invigorating. This ball is scorched to right center field. Iannetta is going to go first to third. Rockies apparently not done here in the 9th. Trevor Story coming up. Another 2-hit ball game for Nolan.
See a 4-seam fastball right there, wanting it away again, right over the heart of the plate, a little bit up. Nolan stays through the baseball so well. He keeps that head down, drives it. It's 103 miles per hour off the bat. That ball was stung. Nolan continues to stay hot.
Story's put together 4 terrific at-bats today. Double, single, deep fly ball to left, and a walk. Yeah, Superman wears Nolan PJs. I love it. That's a hooked foul.
I think Chuck Norris might take offense to that.
Yeah, I think he would too. 17 multi-hit games for Nolan Arenado, leads the team.
And this ball on the ground to second. It was hit sharply. That'll end the inning. A 2-run home run from Charlie Blackmon, and the Rockies extend their lead to 6-1 as they're looking for 3 more outs in San Francisco. We've arrived at the bottom of the 9th inning. Mike Dunn will be asked to get the final 3 outs. McCutchen, Posey, and Longoria for San Francisco. Mike Dunn, a happy guy tonight because his Las Vegas Knights won again tonight, 3-2 over Winnipeg, and they lead the Jets now 3-1 in that Western Conference Final. 15th appearance for Mike. It's an opportunity for him to try to right the ship a little bit. He's had some command issues. He's walked some guys. And that first pitch is in there. Strike 1 on McCutchen, 0 for 3 tonight. Oh for 8 in the series. Well located. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I think it's been harder for Mike Dunn to get in a rhythm because the starters have been going so deep into games, and you have pitchers like Brian Shaw catching the chase down in the dirt.
That's a good start.
It's a great start.
Catch the best fireworks shows in town this summer on Tuesday, July 3rd and Wednesday, July 4th, following the games with the San Francisco Giants.
One of the things the Rockies staff has done the last 2 days, they're missing bats. They rung up 11 strikeouts in a 12-inning game last night, and that was the 8th strikeout between Freeland Shaw and now Mike Dunn. Buster Posey, single back in the first. He's 1 for 3. A reminder, tomorrow, it's a quick turnaround. It's a day game. 12:30 pregame show out here, which means that's 1:30 back in the Mountain Time Zone. Ball game a half hour later. Kyle Freeland, just terrific again tonight. 2-0. There's a strike. Big Okies on the hill tomorrow. The Gray Wolf making his 10th start. He'll go against right-hander Chris Stratton, also making his 10th start. He'll be looking to level his record at 5-5. 3-1.
I just like that it gives the Rockies an opportunity to win a series 3 games into a 4-game stamp. And it is the best that John Gray's been pitching so far this season, is the last really 4 starts.
He had a rough one against Milwaukee in his last outing. He's trying to erase that image. That's a walk to Posey with 1 out. Evan Longoria singled in the 7th. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Strike 1, Posey will move up. Longoria learning a new set of pitchers coming over from the American League. Corey, when you went to the American League, do we make, oh, Houston was still in the National League then, that's right.
Yeah.
Hey, Corey, never mind.
Yeah.
I was going to say, do we make more of that than what it is? What do you think?
I do think that too much is made. I remember hearing everybody talk about the American League East and people pitching in that, and then we go and play against them, and we sweep the Yankees and we sweep the Red Sox. And I get that's a small sample size, but yeah, you get 9 hitters in the league. Obviously, that one hitter is going to hit more than the pitcher, but I just think there's too much weight put on it.
Strike 3 on Longoria. Thought that was outside, it may have been, but it's 2 outs. And that'll bring up Nick Hundley.
Backdoor slider by Mike Dunn, the Subaru Supermo.
Chris Iannetta centering it to the body, and he got the call from Brian O'Nora. Hundley tonight 0 for 3. Hit it on the ground 3 times to Nolan. Two-0 on Hundley. 6-1 Colorado. Last night, the Rockies won in 12, 5-3. Cargo 2-run 12th inning single. And this should do it. Popped up right side. Castro coming in from the outfield is Cuevas. And the Rockies have won 2 straight in San Francisco. 3 out of 4 on this 9-game road trip. They improved to 25-20. Kyle Freeland improves to 4-4. He was magnificent for 6 2/3. Derek Holland takes the loss, and now the Rockies just a half game out as Arizona lost against the Mets in Queens tonight, 3-1. And the star of the game offensively, Ian Desmond. All 4 of the first runs batted in for the Rockies came off the bat at Desi. Plenty to do with the Toyota postgame show. That'll be next. Enjoy, everybody.